Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Thank you, honey.
Let me see who's in the building. Oh yeah. Welcome to the BBOY and BBOY Dojo Live Knowledge Drop. Straight from Cypher. And today we are celebrating teaching. We are part of the teacher camp, international teacher camp this couple of weeks. And we have a special guest coming up today. But before that, let me know who's in the building. Shoot the message in the chat below so I know who I'm speaking to. Hope you had a beautiful day today. This far, and it's about to get even better. The theme of the day is marketing and promotion as a teacher. And also let me know if you can hear the sound good. No problem. You are tuned in live from the office of Cypher Flomo Dance School. Formless Way in the house. Big up. France representing. Hey. Big affair in the house. Long time no see. Iran represent. Who else do we have over here before we get our guest of the day in? A very, very inspirational guest today that we have. Cros won the promoter of Freestyle session event. Legendary event which I've been lucky enough to be part of a bunch of times, starting from the legendary edition from number 8 at the Queen Mary boat, which is a classic. If you haven't seen that one, that blew our minds, that blew our careers up, and also for a lot of other people's. So yeah, I guess we are good to go. BBOY Chronic in the house. Shout out to Ottawa. We're about to get it live and kick in. Let me see. Boom!
Yo.
Cros one in the house. What's going on?
What
How you
up?
doing, mister? Oh, good.
Can you hear me all right?
From Helsinki. I hear you very good. What about you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. I'm at the office of the studio. This class is going, so I was wondering if the sound is good, and it seems to be all right. Cool. Good morning, your ways. How you doing today?
Just getting started, man. Just woke up about 45 minutes ago, so
There you
starting
go.
my day.
Kick it off with a little interview. Thank you for joining us today. Like you probably know,
thanks
for
for
the
having
next
me.
couple of weeks, we speak about teaching at the dojo. So today,
What's up?
with you as a guest, we can see from a promoter's perspective. Because
Right.
there's many angles to teaching as well. Not just what happens in a class or in a workshop, but how do you throw your workshops? How do you get booked, and so on and so on. So let's build.
Yep.
I guess we can start off with a little bit of a small introduction. And how did you end up throwing freestyle session? What was the early days like, and how did you end up with the idea of rocking your own event, freestyle session? Let me see. I think Cros just froze up. We might need to get him on board again. Let's see if that works. Meanwhile, all right.
That was weird. Sorry, that was
Round
weird.
two.
It just like turned off for some reason. But I heard the question.
Good. Okay. So how did you get started with freestyle session? How did you end up throwing events? Was freestyle session the first event you did?
Somewhat. It was the first one I did myself, but I actually helped somebody else, a local promoter, do an event out here. So I kind of got my feet wet and seen, what everything entailed. You know what I mean? So yeah, I helped with the event about maybe 6 months before. It's called Secret Wars. It was like one of the last ones. It was an
Secret
event that
Wars.
happened. Yeah, it was an event that was happening like for a couple of years before I even threw an event. So I was always competing at them, and even the last one that they did, I competed at, and I actually won with the crew of guys from like Riverside, which is like an hour from here. So I,
All
I
right, cool.
participated in the door. I helped the promoter, and then I ended up winning the jam, and then yeah, and then I started throwing my own event. So
Nice, nice. How did
yeah.
you end up doing that one? Like, how did you end up doing freestyle session? What's the story behind the first FSS?
Pretty much the story is like, B-Boy Summit is from San Diego, so B-Boy Summit actually moved to LA like a year before. So there really wasn't too much happening in San Diego. So, and practices were kind of dwindling down because of that. So kind of wanted to make a move. So I just said, fuck it, I just throw an event. And there was a little bit of motivation behind it because at practice I was, telling people about the event that I wanted to do. And, where we used to practice was L Street Boys and Girls Club, which is a pretty popular spot. So there's a gym, the big gym where I actually threw the jam, and then there's a side little dance room. So, I was telling people, and some people were like, "Oh, you should just throw it in the dance room, so then it'll be packed." I was like, "Man, fuck it! I'm gonna pack the gym." Like, I felt like people were just like, they didn't have faith in me or something. Like, I wouldn't be able to pack it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just did that.
Okay. So what was it like compared to the current events that people are most likely seen on YouTube and all of that? But how about the first freestyle session? What was it like?
Uh, it was super raw, man. Like, it's crazy because back then there wasn't much. I wouldn't say there wasn't much to do, but there wasn't as much to compete with your time. You know what I mean? So, as kids, I threw like a MC room. I had an art wall. I had all hip hop encompassing, but you know, it was a thing. Like the whole city wanted to come out. So the first freestyle session, there was like 700 or 800 people there. You know,
But
and that's right out the
dope.
gate. So that's going from 0 to 100 like real quick. So um, people were just like, yo, there was something different to do. So whereas compared to now, you really have to zone in on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to create, because there's, especially in San Diego, there's so much things to compete with. Like you got cruising, you got you got day parties, you got surfing, skating. Like there's so many other things that you can do. Like there can be 20 events in the same day on some other shit. So, and it's just really nice out here. So, going to a breaking event isn't like the top of anybody's list.
Yeah, I've had my share of surfing in San Diego, saw some
Yeah,
sharks and all that stuff. So
right.
you know what it's like. It's a beautiful city. All
Yeah.
right. The topic of the day is teaching, though. We can
Mm.
see from the promoter's perspective. Uh, Getting workshops for teacher is often up to the promoter in a way that people are waiting for requests to throw a workshop, and also I'm pretty sure you've had your share of requests of, all right, throw me a workshop at freestyle session, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell me a little bit about, are you getting this kind of requests, and how do you handle somebody asking like, all right, Cros, hook me up, give me a workshop?
Yeah. I mean, I'm the type that, I like to work with specialists. So when it comes to workshops, I like to kind of confide in people that are specialists in that area. So like in San Diego, at least, I haven't done. I mean, I did San Diego freestyle session a while ago, but I just called other people that are specialists in that. and then I can add my specialty of promotion on top of it. You know what I mean? So, like I'll speak on San Diego just because LA, I'm actually foreign to LA. So, if I do something in LA, I'm working with other people, but, at least here in my hometown, like, I'll hit up like Eddie Styles, I hit up Aeronetic. They actually teach all the time. So, even Dino Rock out here, he's teaching all the time. So, I would actually pitch off to them and just, people that are specialty in that area, in that field. You know what I mean? Like I could do it, but it's just not my specialty. My specialty is curating events and experiences. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I like to work with people that that can
Shout
get
out
the
to Dino,
job done.
shout
You know
out
what I
to
mean?
Styles.
Yeah.
And it's funny that
So
for teachers' perspective,
you kind of froze up a
yeah.
little bit.
All right. So it's funny that from a teacher's perspective, it actually is a lot about the promoter. Same as a judge,
Mm.
right? The promoter has pretty much the responsibility and also the power to make somebody sit on the judge's bench and so on.
Mm.
So there's a lot of responsibility on that side too. Who gets to judge, who gets to teach, and so on. So it's big
Yeah, I
shoes,
mean,
not just running the event,
yeah, I
but
mean,
also
if you're
people's
getting
careers on the line.
if you're getting hollered at to judge, then more than likely you should be able to do a workshop. Like me personally, I don't really teach too much, so, and I never really did. I did it in Japan, like in '95, but it was before workshops were even a refined thing. You know what I mean? Like it was back when you would have a practice, and I was just going around and helping people with their mechanics and how they're doing things. You know what I mean? So now people are doing like, either set routines, or they're doing a workshop where they're going over, how to create and how to kind of like line up your sets for battle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it just depends on how you want to do it. So that's what I've been seeing with a lot of people's workshops. There's so many different ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a big dream for a lot of people to teach outside of their country and outside of their local scene. So
Mm-hmm.
what would be your top 3 tips for somebody who wants to get booked, who wants to turn teaching into a career?
I mean, I definitely get your class in order. You know what I mean? Like how you're gonna do it, because from what I've seen, I've seen people do it really good, and I've seen people do it really bad. You know what I mean? So my top tip would just be forever remain a student. So, go out and take people's classes. Even if you're like somebody that has a name, like go take a class and be a student of at least the class structure, and, doing other people's stuff, like, and people's mindsets, like that's going to expand your mindset and the way you do things. So, number one would definitely be just be remaining a student yourself. And then 2, find out what works for you. Like, if teaching sets is your thing, then that's just going to be your thing, and that's going to be what you're known for. And if people want to know how to do your sets, then that'll be a definitely sell. Some people are into that. Some people just want to know what's in your mind and how you create. So, and if that's the way you want to do your class, then I think you got to go off of feeling. You know what I mean? And then also having a variety of different ways to go about things. I've seen Poe, he always does like, he does themes in his workshops, and he'll do workshops for like freaking like 2 hours, 3 hours, like he's doing these long straight camps of just of things, So yeah, just play with the different ways of doing it. And, like for me, I feel like for anybody that's teaching, you want to teach locally first. You want to know that your thing works, like your the way you curate your environment and how you're doing it. You want to know that it works. I think your best advertising is going to be your students. If your students are killing the game and they're like, where'd this guy come from? He's like, oh, that's one of Focus's students. That's your best fucking advertisement. That's like your flyer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Of a straight testimonial right there. Not
Yeah,
like how you say, like, all right, define what's in the workshop as well. A lot of people just go in and teach a workshop of random stuff, right? But
yeah,
you don't go to a store and buy something if you don't know what it's made of, right? So
yeah.
imagine from the student's perspective, it's like, all right,
Yeah,
there's
you
going to be a
you want to
back
you
rock
want to be able to
workshop, for
articulate
example.
you want to be able to articulate your whole class in writing. At least give an outline of what's going to happen, and then if you veer off and freestyle from there, that's an extra. That's a bonus.
Yeah, yes,
Mm.
indeed. What are some of the other basic skills for a teacher besides teaching? What do you think? You said, all right, you got to be articulate about what you're going to teach.
Yeah.
But if you want to turn your teaching into a career, besides what happens in the classroom, what else do you need to
Um,
have?
Basic skills. I mean, yeah, I pretty much put a little freaking list of shit. So, I mean, you definitely want to be a people
Shoot.
person. You want to be able to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like you want to be the cool teacher. You don't want to be the teacher that's just like, do this, do that. You want to be a people person. So, you definitely want to be able to articulate your moves and movements and how you're doing things. You want to be professional. You know, you want to be on time. You want to have your time management on point because an hour means an hour, man. Some people may set out just like 90 minutes to take your class, so it's 15 minutes to get there and then 15 minutes to get back to whatever they're doing. So you definitely want to have your time on point. You don't want, I mean, sometimes you go over and give people more than what they want, what they bargain for, but you want to have a general idea of the start and stop and how long you're going to go into certain things. So I mean, I think those are the most important for me if I was to take a class. So
For sure. So no hip hop time for workshop
no.
either. If it starts at 7 o'clock, it starts at 7 o'clock
Yeah,
sharp, right?
hip hop time went out like in 2010, I feel like.
Definitely played out a decade ago at least, for sure. What have you learned from organizing events that you use in your life outside of the dance or outside of throwing events?
A lot of things that I just spoke about, like time management, people person. Like I mean, I naturally kind of are like that, but time management was definitely something that I had to learn. Like I didn't have it right out the gate. You know, because like when we started traveling and stuff, it wasn't. We didn't look at it like it was something professional. It was just kind of like something that we did. It was fun. Like we were, you know, exchanging with people from halfway across the planet. We're just kind of going with the flow. But eventually, we just figured out that it's a job. So it's not all fun and games. You know what I mean? Like you're getting paid for work and you're working. So that's just something that I came up with. And like hip hop taught me entrepreneurialism, how to work for myself, how to hustle. So I take these things in a lot of different directions. Like I eventually, I feel like of course breaking and dancing in general is going to be your life, but it doesn't have to be all of your life. I mean, it can be, but you know one day the dancing stops. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like when I couldn't break anymore, I had to figure other things out. So I kind of like took what I learned in breaking and applied it to DJing. And the hustle in DJing is almost pretty much parallel with how we do in breaking. So I did that. Even the clothing and stuff. A lot of the things that you zone in for breaking, you could apply those to so many different things. I even had a conversation with Cloud one time, and he used the same approach when he was doing his videos and movie directing and stuff. So like if you could get good at breaking, you get good at anything, man.
Yes, indeed. It's a
Yeah,
hard road to take, but at the same
yeah,
time, it's basic business skills that you learn from it that you can apply
yeah. I
for
mean, you
anything
didn't turn like a
afterwards.
dope b-boy overnight, so you're not going to be dope at business overnight either. It takes
For
a lot of
sure.
time and effort. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. How about somebody who uh wants to turn their break into a career, or maybe even open up their own dance school one day, or start organizing their workshops by themselves, which is a no. It's basically what you do, but on a smaller scale as well. So if somebody wants to promote their own workshops,
I mean,
what kind of words of encouragement would you have for them?
I mean, I've given having a school a try, so it's a lot of work, man. It's like throwing a jam like every day for however long, you know. So I
12
think
years deep.
so I feel like you know, you definitely have to have a team. You know, if you don't have a team, man, just forget about traveling, forget about doing anything for yourself. Like you're gonna be basically living for your students, you know. So you definitely want to have a team in place to, you know, tackle all of the responsibilities. So um but you know, once you have everything in place, man, it could pretty much run itself because everybody gets in the zone and everybody knows exactly what to do. And it could be a lovely thing, man. You could, because once you have the base of having a school, you have a hub for your city. You know, once you have a hub, you could create other things where there could be a, you know, a store at your place. It could be a place to throw in little small events. You know, so I think you know, having a school is imperative. I think in every city. I think eventually there's going to be one in every city, especially after the Olympics and stuff. I think if it's not going to come before, it's definitely going to come after. And you know, if you want to be the one, then be the one. You know what I mean? And there may
That's
be
it.
more than one in some cities. You know, I've already seen it already. So
That's it. It's time to start making some moves, man.
yeah, man.
All right. And I guess that was all the questions for today. If anybody has any questions, hit us up in the chat over here. Let us know
Yeah.
about freestyle session going down November again this year, right?
Yeah, we actually pushed it back into November because I think BC1 is going to be earlier, so we're probably going to be doing it week after. So we've been kind of just waiting for them to make an announcement before we make our announcement, just so it's
Yeah. I guess
100%
that
because
happened
it's just been
today.
kind of it's been kind of flip flopping. So yeah,
Yeah, I guess they
yes, but
came
this
out with the
year,
days today with New York, so
oh
your
word,
turn
okay,
next.
so yeah, so I'm doing the exact week after, so and it's going to be in
Awesome.
New York, so and then
Awesome. Anybody
also
tuning
it's going
in,
to
book
be
your tickets 1 week
yeah, it's going to be a
after
crew
BC1.
battle this year too. So we're bringing back the
Oh,
crew battle.
okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
25-year anniversary crew battle. Um, yeah, man, we're planning on doing a big thing, man. If you've been to like the 10, you've been to 20, we're gonna be trying to do 25 just as big, you know. So
Big
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Stelios Petro is asking how to approach multiple dance schools. So if you want to turn your school into a chain
yeah.
or
Well, you know, like I said, you want to create that team. So once you have the team aspect down, um, and you pretty much have the code. You know, if one is running itself, then the next biggest step is to do a second one. You know, second location. And you know, once you get a name behind your belt, you know, more people are going to be able to want to get down. So especially if you have a crew that's in multiple cities, then that's probably the easier way. Um, you know, but if you have the blueprint, man, like you could definitely shop it around and see if people want to do it. I know like Moy was doing that with Break Free. You know, he's got multiple locations, and I think he's even you know, he's even having other people use the name and getting paid for it. So, you know, stuff like that.
yes, indeed. So whether it's a franchise or if you're licensing the brand or running it yourself, there's different options on how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do
See,
it.
like with freestyle session, a lot of the things overseas is all like, you know, franchised and licensed. So, you know, I'm not doing it. A lot of people think that I'm doing all the legwork, but I'm doing more curation. So like I kind of like, you know, like I said, I created the blueprint and I'm able to work with other people in other countries, in other cities and create the same experience in other places. You know what I mean? So and you know, like a lot of the cities may not have, you know, as big a budget or whatever. So, you know, we kind of like try to shrink it or grow it as you know, depending on where we're going, you know. So
That's pretty much it. So it's a strong
yeah.
foundation, get a strong team, and it's all grind from there. But
Yeah.
delegate, outsource as much as possible because you can't be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not really like outsourcing. It's more just like, you know, just like I said, the blueprint and just creating the structure. Because once you have the structure, you can kind of take people in and out of the place. You don't ever want to like, you don't ever want to have one person that has to be there. You want to be able to take them out and replace them with somebody else, to keep it going. You know what I mean? Because if there's somebody that has to be there, what if they get sick? Then you pretty much got to shut down. You know, like give it a freestyle session. Like technically, if you took me out of it, like it would still be able to run. I would be able to call like somebody else to host or somebody else to run it, and it'll go. You know, it may not be what you want it to be, but you know, I think a lot of people kind of got to the point where it's like, oh, where's Cros? Cros got to do something, like, you know, like
Cros chilling in the back.
Yeah.
Experience as well. There's always something happening, so you gotta have some free time available to if something is.
There's been freestyle session events in other countries where I wasn't attending. You know, I just kind of oversaw it from the outside. So
and that's what separates experienced promoter versus somebody who's doing it for the first time. Because at the first you want to get your hands in everything, and it's like when it grows, it's impossible eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to figure out that I could step away and, you know, have other people do stuff. So
it's a lot of trust. And it's
yes,
trust people as well.
I have trust issues. You definitely have to trust your team, man. Like the stronger your team, the stronger your business is going to be. You know.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Awesome. That's all I had for today. Thank you very much for joining. That was inspiring. I'm sure the people who tuned in got inspired as well. So I wish you good luck with the 25-year anniversary. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, hopefully it helps people and kind of puts in their brain that it's not just like, you know, teaching moves and stuff. Like, you know, workshops it's a big responsibility, man. These workshops are going to be the seeds for the future, you know, so definitely want to step up and do it right.
All right. Big up.
Right.
Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day. Stay in touch.
Yeah.
Everybody else tuning in, head out to bboydojo.com/teacherscamp. We got more stuff coming up for you. Alienness in 2 days.
All right.
A bunch of other things the next week. Easy. Stay in touch.
Cool.
Peace.
Peace.